Good evening, everyone. Today, we have to start the revision program from question number 6. I think in last session, we did up to question number 6. And we started question number 6, but unfortunately, there was a power cut since today I'm going to start the session from question number 6. Okay. So read the question and prepare. Right here, first question is, which of the following government expenditure items are considered as collective expenditure and which is considered as individual expenditure? Right. First one, fertilizer subsidy. Right. So here you need to categorize following expenditure categories under following expenditure items under whether it's collective expenditure or whether it's individual expenditure. So first one, fertilizer. Here you need to think about whether this item, right, whether this item is based on number of persons, right? This expenditure, fertilizer, if it is based on number of person, that means fertilizer mean farmers, no? So number of farmers, or it is not based on number of farmers. Right, this is the main criteria to distinguish between collective and individual. If it is based on number of farmers, it would be individual, right? That means the fertilizer subsidy would, if fertilizer subsidy increase when number of farmers increase, decrease when number of farmers decrease. That means it based on the amount, right? So it is, if it is individual. If not, that means it does not based on number of farmers, it would be collective expenditure, right? So here, if it is individual, right, let's see fertilizer subsidy, right? If fertilizer subsidy should be paid, right, then let's say that there are 100 farmers, right? So this subsidy, let's say bags, fertilizer bags, no, fertilizer bags, right? So if there is 100 farmers and they need to provide minimum 100 bags for 100 farmers. If it is 200 farmers, let's say one farmer get 1 kilogram. Then one farmer gets 10 kilogram of fertilizer. Then 10 farmers get 100 kilograms. So it is based on numbers, right? Here, fertilizer subsidies based on number of farmers, that means individual expenditure, right? So that is the category. right? So if expenditure is based on number of personnel, it would be individual. If not based on number of personnel, it is collective. So first one, fertilizer, it based on number of heads, farmers, right? Head, that means number of farmers. So here, farmers get 10 kilograms. If one farmer get 10 kilograms, it means 10 farmers get 100 kilograms, right? So it is first one, A is individual here. Next one, medical research, right? Here, not the medical test, right? Medical tests are also there. In Sinhala, medical test called Vaidya Parikshana. And medical research are two things. Medical research. Those are, we call them whatever, I don't remember. Medical research are some kind of broad concept, right? Medical test is based on personnel, right? Medical test is based on personnel, based on number of patients. But medical research, again, it's kind of a research implemented by the universities or government or whatever research team. So that benefit would be not for individual, it would be collective, right? The benefit would be gained by the society with regardless of the number of people, right? Since medical research would be here, B is collective, right? C, police and fire bridge. Actually, there is no doubt about this C, because police are based on some kind of area, right? So Piliyandala area have Piliyandala police station. Kasbah area have Kasbah police station. Regardless number of people, right? So it is not based on number of people, it would be in here C, right? It is collective. And the next one, D, school lunch. Here, lunch is based on number of personnel. Why? Because one student needs one lunch packet or one lunch box, right? So but in our schools we know that we try to share everything, but here it's kind of formal, right? So here it should be individual, because why? If government provide lunch, they need to count what would be the number of students, and there are equal lunch packets for that number, right? So it is D. So the base is, if it is based on number of person, it is individual. If it is not based on number of person, it is collective, right? So that's the thing. And the next one. Question number 7. Question number 6 done. Because I told you that medical test is individual expenditure, keep in mind
because one medical test should be performed to one patient. So it is based on patient, and medicine also individual, right? Because we are not consuming medicine collectively, right? So medicine, medical test, those things would be individual, and others like collective expenditures, right? Those are for the society, right? One expenditure for whole society, right? Next one, identify whether the following transactions are include or exclude in individual consumption expenditure. Whether it's include or exclude in individual consumption expenditure. First one, value of customer goods, value of consumer goods and service purchased from the market. Right. So in a consumption expenditure, whether it should be include or exclude. The first one, A, value of consumer goods and service purchased from the market. Obviously, it should be include. Why? Because it is individual under individual consumption. B, value of goods and service obtained under the barter method. Yes, it also done by the some companies, right? Again, if it is like parent company, that those company have subsidies, they will exchange goods and service with each other. Yes, it should be included. Second one also should be included. C, third one, self-consumption goods and service. Right, there's a problem. Why? Because there is self-consumption goods and service both. In here, we include only self-consumption goods only. Goods include services exclude. Right? Services should exclude from the consumption expenditure. Right. Next one, D. So C, keep in mind, self-consumption goods are included and services are not included. That means excluded. D, residential service from their own home. So residential service, it should be included, right? Because it is productive economic activity included. E, grants received as material goods, right? So material should be goods, not the service. Service, cut the service. Grants received as material by household. Received by household from government or NPISH, right? So it should be included, right? It is included. Why? Because in consumption expenditure, the things provided by whom? NPISH or government. So it was included in final consumption expenditure on government or either NPISH, but under actual consumption of household, right? So it is included. If an old car used by the Bank of Ceylon is being auctioned off, that means it was sold in an auction by a person for personal use. Anyway, it is an used car, that means second hand good, it is not included. Next one, G. Contribution made by an individual to welfare society. So it is a kind of transfer, right? Transfer payments. Contribution made by an individual to welfare society. So transfer payments are not included. Right, so that's it. Section number 7, I think we did. Now 8. The following a list of consumer spending incurred by a particular economy in a given year. All the figures are in millions of rupees. So there are public investment. However, so please cut the public, right? It should be investment. Oh, next one, household consumption, and then government individual consumption expenditure and government collective consumption expenditure, government transfers to household, consumption expenditure on NPISH. So try to do, what are they asking? Final individual consumption expenditure, final government and final consumption expenditure of whom? A total and actual household consumption expenditure. Right? Read the question. Right. So here, first one should be, let me check, first one should be corrected as all right, it's fine. It is public investment, right? No need to worry about that. It is public investment. Right. So we'll start it. Right. First one, they're asking final individual consumption expenditure. Final individual consumption expenditure. Final and individual. So here we know final individual consumption expenditure are based on two things. right? What are those? First one and second one. So here individual consumption expenditure include with NPISH consumption, non-profit institution service for household. That's what NPISH mean, right? So NPISH mean in non-profit institution serve for household, right? That mean household mean here household consumption. It should be add back, right? So let's take first one, household consumption is 800, and government individual consumption expenditure, it's not under final consumption expenditure. So here final individual mean final household, right? Correct it as personal, not the individual. Personal. Final personal or household consumption expenditure. NPISH mean households, right? So here, what is the consumption expenditure of NPISH? It is 100. It is 100. Now we can add those together and take 900 value for the first one, right? It is first one. Second one. What's the second one? They're asking final government consumption expenditure. Final and government. What is final mean? Sorry, what is government mean? All government expenditure need to be added without investment, because only consumption. So government individual consumption, individual and government collective. What is government individual consumption expenditure? 250, and collective is 150. All together 2, 3, 4. 400 million. All figures are in rupees million. So RSMN. RSMN. Third one. Final consumption expenditure. A final consumption expenditure. It would be final household and final government. When we add all together 900 and 400, it would be 1,300 million. Right? What's the next one? Actual household consumption expenditure. This is one thing you need to be careful, right? Here, you can take it. Fine, they're asking actual household. So, what are the values that come under actual household? Obviously, total household consumption is actual household, right? Final consumption expenditure is under the actual household. And also, government individual. Individual mean it is based on number of personnel. right? That means lunch provided by the government for school students, or textbooks and uniforms. They provide it for each and every student, government school student, right? So they consume it by themselves. Finally, they direct to households, right? And the next one, like medicine, government hospital provides medicine and medical test for households. That was the individual government individual expenditure. And also fertilizer subsidies are ultimately consumed by farmers. That is also individual government expenditure. So for the actual household consumption, right, this final consumption should need to be included. So final consumption expenditure by household, it is 900. And here, other than this collective income, this 250 is individual government individual expenditure. It is 250, and altogether 1150 million. So those are the answers. If you want from the final consumption expenditure, right here, how much here, this is the final consumption. From this you can eliminate what? This collective assumption figure. Alternative method, final alternative method. So this is fourth one alternative. Final consumption expenditure was 1300, and you need to remove this figure, government collective. It is 150. Now the answer would be 1150. The same, right? You can follow whatever method you want, but better this method, right? Next one. All right, I think for the given tute, it is, we can end the I think it was National Accounting Revision Expenditure Approach first part is complete. From here, after, I think we have to start second paper, right? So we'll start second paper after a break, right? Then you can practice, now you can practice those questions, right? So work hard for better tomorrow.